Good afternoon, Insignio. We're back for another Insignio TV series. Today is February 5th. With us, we've got Jorge Benguria, all the way from Spain. Jorge, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So we met about 2 years ago, and you're working with several very interesting solutions, uncorrelated, very, very differentiated.
Yeah, correct. Thank you so much. We are capital strategists. We are maybe the largest third-party marketer in Southern Europe. Okay, and as Alejandro mentioned, we represent several managers and trying to be uncorrelated with the markets on something special, no, or something thematic as well. In capital strategies, we have our headquarters in Spain, in Madrid, but we have different offices in France, in Italy, in UK, in Portugal, in Latin region, in Peru, Lima, and in Dubai, and we represent, as I tell you, different managers. Today, we have a GSA Coral. GSA Coral is a specialist real estate investment fund focused exclusively on student housing, student accommodation, housing globally. The fund capitalizes on structural supply-demand imbalances in key student housing markets, offering institutional-grade assets that generate stable income and long-term capital growth. Managed by GSA as a group, okay? GSA as a group is a global leader with over 30 years of experience in student accommodation investment. I manage this fund, GSA Coral, and it's recognized or its data-driven approach, strategic partnership, and sustainable investment practices, okay? As a fund per se, the fund was launched in 2009. The first class was launched. After that, the UCIT class was in 2012, the 1st of September, okay? Domicile in Luxembourg. The size of the fund is almost 1 billion. Wow. So now it's growing up so fast. And the unit class currency is the US dollar. One of the key points is that this fund is an evergreen fund. It's an alternative fund, but it's an evergreen fund. And why? Because the liquidity, the liquidity is monthly subscriptions and redemptions with 1 month's notice. Okay, so this is important. The management fee is 1.5 annualized per annual, and no success fee, no performance fee, which is important.
Yes.
Important.
Yes.
It depends on the class, but maybe you guys want to have the institutional class, you have like kind of subscription fee, but with 1.5, and then you have another classes with a rebate and like a pre-notice period of 6 months. Okay, it's 2% management fee, a 0.5 for you guys for rebate. Okay.
Okay.
So you don't have any kind of redemption fee. So the investment strategy, GSA Coral invests in high occupancy operational student accommodation assets, complemented by selected development opportunities for capital appreciation. Okay, the fund follows a balanced approach, ensuring a stable income stream with unlocking value through new acquisitions and developments. For example, this global diversified. It's impossible to find another fund like this in the market, evergreen and global. It's impossible. You don't have any. Maybe you have in the US, in Spain, and the UK with student housing. But these funds are closed-end funds, okay?
And to be fair, within the whole universe of funds that we work with, only one fixed income fund even has a slice of student housing.
Yeah.
We've scoured the universe, and it was a micro slice.
Yeah, correct. So they are an experts. They started long time ago. Nicholas Porter, the owner, started in 1989, I guess. So in Bristol, in the UK, with small apartments in front of the Bristol University, and start doing the process. Finally, the owner, Nicholas Porter, launched Unite, and this Unite went to the FTSE 100 in the UK stock markets. No, so finally, this Nicholas Porter sold the company and started with the GSA in 2005. No, so a lot of expertise, 30 or more years of expertise in student housing. When we see the real estate market per se, the student housing is the most resilient asset class into the real estate. Why? Because education is growing so fast. And as a parent, the last thing that I will keep for paying is obviously the education of my kids. Yes. So it's true that all of these student housing accommodations are in front of the best universities in all around the world. Okay. And as I mentioned, it's global diversified across United States, United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, Germany, Australia, and Japan. And nowadays, they are launching the new geographies in France and Italy.
Do you, and a question here, do you guys feel, I mean, within Europe, you're obviously a European, centric, although you have, outreach everywhere else. Key value add in Europe, you guys, proximity is a thing because you're there.
Proximity is a thing because the headquarters are in the UK, but
Yep.
that is a good point. Why the proximity is good and why having a good partnership is good in the different geographies. For example, they work in the US with Morgan Stanley. Before COVID, they decided to keep a lot of cash position, 30%, because they were looking for a nice opportunity in the US. And back to 2021, they decided to have a joint venture with Morgan Stanley, spending this 20% of cash. I mean, it's almost 300 million in 2021, having this joint venture with Morgan Stanley because they operate and they are doing the development as well. No, they buy in their own assets. But when they can buy their own assets, they have like kind of joint venture with these brands. For example, Morgan Stanley in the US, GIC Singapore, the sovereign fund of Singapore in the UK and Asia as well. Now, for example, in France, Nuveen Real Estate,
Huge.
one of the largest,
Huge.
is huge.
Yeah.
It's 1.2 trillion AUM. Nuveen, they are doing the same in France. And in Italy, for example, they are doing by themselves. No? They are buying the buildings in Rome and in Florence. Okay, so it's a good point. Having a structure close to Europe is good, and when you can do it, you have a good partners in different part of the world, like the big ones.
Jorge, another question is, should we think of this as a development fund or not necessarily because you guys have different ways of acquiring and coming on assets?
Yeah, the way that you will see the performance of the fund is coming from pure rental. Okay, is sorry, I forgot to mention the target return of the fund is in US dollars between 6 and 8. Okay, and most of the times it's close to 8 and close to 6, and 4% is coming from just rentals. Okay, and the rest of 4, I would say, it's coming from valuations and operational as well. Okay. And it's true that you mentioned, Alejandro, thank you. It's true that most of this business is also because they are developing or they are managing, the structures of the student housing. And it's true as well that the valuations are in June and in December. So you will see when you are invested in this fund, you will see that June and December, if you see every month something like 0.6, 0.7 NAV, you will see 1 point something in June and December. Obviously, the valuations are positive, and almost the time the valuations are positive because it's global. So it's difficult to see negative in US, negative in UK, negative in Europe, negative in Asia. No,
sure.
So when the valuations doing by CBRE, Savills doing by the best ones in the world,
Yep.
The valuation is doing 2 times per year.
2 times per year, third party, completely independent.
So the best ones doing the Savills, CBRE, all the best ones about real estate, all the valuation companies are doing their job, and sometimes obviously it's a little bit less. For example, a bad year for GSA could be 5%, 6%. A good year is close to 8, because the valuations are going up. For example, this year it was a good year, 6.75, the institutional US dollar class, and the last NAV on December a few weeks ago was 1.7. The last NAV monthly NAV.
Okay.
So it was like almost 5, but
and then a lift
before December, but after December it was 6.7.
Okay, which included like the capital gain.
Capital gain of the valuation. Correct.
One thing that is on investors' mind is inflation and protecting purchasing power.
Correct.
So is it safe to say that there is, like rent escalators in some of these?
A good question. Thank you. Yeah, inflation is one of the things that you can put in on the price of the rentals. It's true, and people will still pay.
Sure.
The percentage of occupancy is on average is 97%, 98%. So, which is true. And you have waiting lists in most of the countries. Okay. So it doesn't matter because when you see and you can touch, if you have clients that are traveling to the US, of course, or traveling to Spain, we have people on the ground that they can show them the student housing accommodation. They can touch it. And you can see, and it's true that we are now 40s, but it's true that when you think about when you are 20, you were 20s, the best place to go to study and to spend time because it's like a luxury student housing accommodation with a lot of amenities, a lot of good things, well prepared, everything. So clean, it's amazing. So the rentals and the inflation is a good mix, and the cost you can include it in the price.
Pretty good pass through.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So market outlook for 2025, we are seeing a strong demand for student housing globally due to ongoing supply shortages in major university cities such as Dublin, London, Paris, Melbourne, Tokyo, increasing institutional investor interest for us as well, not just wholesale, not just private banking, which is good because it's more comfortable to have sometimes institutional investors that, they have different views, like long-term views, and they prefer to have a big amount in something that they're gonna be safe. So it's good to have for example, Nordic pension funds investing right now, and as well in the US. So I think and the endowments are looking for this kind of funds as well. No? So we're gonna see more portfolio transactions and capital inflows into the sector. Okay.
What would you say would be headwinds? I'm from the US lens, it's like, the market that we understand best. Are there changes in education, or is there anything new kind of with these next 4 years that would lead us to think anything different?
Yeah, maybe the development viability, the construction cost, or regulatory pressures, I think is one of the keys. Emphasizing the importance of deep market knowledge and strategic partners. You could be wrong with the partner, or you could be wrong with the country that you will open. No, this is one point. The second one, maybe we hear, but we know that this is not a big problem. Is the online education. Sometimes we are thinking about it, and when COVID happened, we thought that online is coming. But what happened? We are seeing a lot of Chinese people, for example, moving to the US, and people from the US moving to Europe because it's the experience as well. No, it's the experience. And for example, in the US with the OPT now jumping from 1 year to 3 years. After you study here in the US in a good university, Ivy League or something with a nice student housing accommodation in front, you will have not only the experience having time in this university, so you're gonna have, thanks of that, 3 years of OPT working, for example, in Insignia, as an intern, or so because you are studying in this country, for example, you have an opportunity to have this visa to work in the next 3 years, no? And as well in China or as well in Europe, no? After you have and spending time in these countries, you have, opportunities to keep, to stay more time over there, no? So it's not just online because I can study an online university, but the rest of the experience, you're gonna miss it for sure, no?
For sure.
So we are, and we are sure that online is gonna be, but not increasing as education and moving around is increasing the other side. No?
Right.
And I think GSA Coral is well positioned to capitalize on these trends, of course, and leveraging in extensive experience, strong local networks, and in-house research capabilities to drive portfolio growth. And obviously, diversification is the key in 2025. I forgot to mention the volatility of this fund is 2%.
2%.
And why is 2? Because before COVID, the fund was 1.7. What happened in COVID? Because it's one of the questions. In COVID in March, when everyone was completely,
bamboozled,
shocked, shocked, about what's going on. Imagine this kind of real business, that this people business is geographically in different parts of the world. When the fund decided to do like a negative guidance of the fund, So the NAV of March was -5 because the negative guidance. Okay, so they decided to do just in case. Okay, and after this negative guidance, every single month, so it's gonna be 60 months since that was positive. Okay,
Wow.
yeah, because they decided to do like a big haircut, just in case. But what happened and why finally the fund was performing good? Because, for example, in cases like Australia and Japan, people spend the whole COVID into the student accommodation. Okay, because 90%, 95% of the rooms are single rooms. So it is a good point as well, because maybe you want to share because you're a good friend previous to go to student housing, or maybe you have a cousin, maybe you have a brother or sister. So this is really good, no? And people, for example, in Germany or in Spain or in the UK, they did prefer to go to the student housing accommodation when Europe opened it
Opened up a little bit.
a little bit the doors to go out, no?
What you described there was just a recalculation of NAV. Was it an impairment? Was it a write down, or just, unrealized capital loss in the valuation of the underlying properties?
Yeah, underlying properties was one of the keys, and the other one was the like prison rentals,
Sure.
like no one want to pay after we're gonna see what happened with the COVID, no? But people were paying every single month, and we're paying like, I do prefer to stay paying, and my kid it will go in 2 months,
Yeah. Highly inelastic demand. They're gonna go to school, they're gonna pay.
Yeah, no, I think they don't have, they have it maybe, but it's not useful to get it, to see it, because as I mentioned, is on the student housing sector is more the high end sector,
Right.
Obviously you have funds with and student housing buildings with this kind of business, but this is a high end
product.
yeah, because if you know the founder Nicolas Porter is a guy well structured, and he likes to have like a 5-star student
5 hours,
housing.
yeah. Okay.
Something like that, but obviously the experience is the experience, and the country is the country, but yeah, yeah.
Okay. This fund structure, you mentioned the very low volatility, you mentioned target returns. How would we access the fund, and what kind of structure is it?
Yeah, it's a fund registered in Luxembourg. So it's like kind of it's an alternative fund, but with the Luxembourg icing. Okay, you can access through person.
Okay.
Okay, you have this institutional class, as I mentioned before, with 1.5 management fee and with 1.5 subscription fee. But with Insignio as a big brand, obviously we can waive this 1.5 of entrance, of course, no? Depends on the volume and everything, no? And you have on the other side, if you want a rebate as well in person, you have a management fee of 2% with a 0.5 or more, depends on you, rebate, okay, for the banker, no? And with no type of, redemption fees and all the stuff. So you don't have any kind of problem. And the best thing for this fund is no success fee.
No success fee.
So this is very important. I think the keys on these ingredients are the evergreen that you can in and out every month, and you don't have any kind of a redemption fee and all the stuff.
It's a structure that we've become intimately familiar with, and it is a fantastic way to get illiquid stuff in a relatively liquid format.
Correct. Sometimes when people talk about big REITs and all the stuff in the past that happened, this is a good thing because it's a monthly redemption fund. You don't need to stay. You don't have any kind of lockup period or something like.
Is there a 5% at any given liquidity window for the fund to get out to protect the other investors?
Well, they used to have liquidity between 4 and 8.
4 and 8% of the total fund.
Total fund. So they are comfortable with this, but they didn't have any kind of big redemptions. But yeah, obviously they would like to take care of the investors already.
Okay. So is there a limit to the amount of funds that can go out on any given month or quarter?
Correct. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, it is something. Yeah, it's something between 5 and 6, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Per quarter?
Per quarter. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's standard. Standard.
Yeah, standard one.
Minimum investment,
In 125K.
125K for new money coming in.
Yeah, and then after that,
125K.
1,000, 5,000, whatever you want. Yeah, this is to open the new investor.
Minimum.
Yeah, 125K. Yeah. US dollar or euros, depend.
Okay.
Or
It's almost 1-to-1.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Easy
it's
math.
1-to-1. It doesn't
They
matter.
make it easy for us these days. That's good.
It doesn't matter right now. Yeah. What
Okay.
else?
And then as far as us rolling up our sleeves, doing more due diligence, maybe getting out there for an experience, visiting one of the properties.
Yeah,
You
it's a good
mentioned that all
experience.
these
Yeah,
possibilities.
Well, for example, with GSA Coral in Spain, we did a lot of events, and hopefully we're gonna do here with you guys in Signio. And they love to do well. If you come with the CEO and founder Nicolas Porter, is a guy that's maybe the guru of the student housing in the whole world, you know. Javier and Ahmed know and they know them very well. For example, yeah, it's good to visit obviously the student housing accommodation, and as well as I mentioned, we can do a lot of events, golf events, events talking about the student housing in a different part of the world. So we can help you guys to spread about this good idea nowadays. You know, obviously the portfolio overview is outstanding. You know, it's 40,000 beds, 100 more than 100 number of assets. 66 cities. So imagine how many things we can do in 66 cities.
Incredible.
And underlying investments, we have 9. So, and countries, you know, if you guys wants to do something in Latam, obviously we can jump. They have offices in London, in Dubai. We are based in Madrid, that we can cover them. Obviously in Latam, we have an office in Lima, capital strategies, I mean. So
Good to know.
we can help you everywhere.
Okay.
And they have a lot of, you know, ideas to do a good branding.
Amazing.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun, because we had an allocated time when we're just like we're flowing right through it. And
It's a good storytelling, you know, for clients. It's a good storytelling for you know, because when you visit as a banker, as I was a banker here in Miami, as you know, as a banker, sometimes you need to have different things to, you know, to keep the attention.
Absolutely.
And to think, hey, this is something different. Thank you so much for having this, no?
Dynamic market.
And something that you can touch, something that most of your clients or my clients in the past, they are paying the universities right now. So it's like, okay, this is the best way to have
It's a hedge to having kids that are going to really good schools.
A reward finally, you know.
Finally.
So yeah, no, thank you so much, Insignio. Thank you, Alejandro. You are doing a great job. Thank you so much. Yeah, happy to help you with this new strategy in Insignio.
Amazing. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, Jorge Benguri from GSA Coral, and thank you for joining.
Thank you. Take care.
Insignia Financial Group LLC comprises a number of operating businesses engaged in the offering of brokerage and advisory products and services in various jurisdictions, principally in Latin America. Brokerage products and services are offered through Insignia International Financial Services LLC, headquartered in Puerto Rico, and through Insignia Securities LLC, headquartered in Miami. Both are members of the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, and Securities Investors Protection Corporation, SIPC. Investment advisory products and services are offered through Insignia Advisory Services LLC, an investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. In Uruguay, advisory services are offered through Insignia International Asesores de Inversión Uruguay, SA, Insignia Asesores de Inversión Latam, SRL, and Insignia Asesores de Inversión de Uruguay, SRL, in Argentina, and through Insignia Argentina, SAU, and in Chile through Insignia Asesorías Financieras, SPA. Collectively, these 8 operating businesses make up the Insignia Financial Group. To learn more about the broker-dealers, including their conflicts of interest and compensation practices, please go to https://insignio.com/disclosures/ or via www.finra.org. To learn about Insignia Advisory Services and any conflicts related to its advisory services, please see its Form ADV and brochure, which can be found at Investment Public Advisor Public Disclosure